Meeting of February 19th to order. Are we in compliance with the open meeting law?
Yes, we are.
This meeting has been posted in various locations throughout the city. We'll move to the first item to be considered. Bill number 2008-3 adopts an updated Parks and Recreation element of the Las Vegas 2020 Master Plan, proposed by Margot Wheeler, Director of Planning and Development.
Flynn Fagg with the Planning and Development Department. We would respectfully request another abeyance for 2 additional weeks. We are still trying to refine the language that we have relative to maintenance of parks. And so we'd like to come back to you at a later date.
I think it's always a good idea to get the language where you want it before we bring it out here. Right. Do you have a motion?
Yes, my motion would be to obey this item until further notice from Planning and Development, and that will be my motion at this time.
If we obey, we need a date.
So
If we obey, they need to
Well, we need a date. What recommended date would you like for us to place in the
it's
record?
either table or a date certain abeyance, which would you
Let's
rather?
do it to the first recommending committee in March.
That would be the 4th.
How about the second?
He's just trying to give you more time to.
That's fine. We'll do the second recommending committee
Great,
meeting in March.
because I don't want to obey it again.
Okay.
Okay.
That would be the 18th.
Okay, I would like to obey this item until March 18th, recommended. Thank you.
Do we have any comments or questions pertaining to this item from the audience? All right. Did we make our motion?
Yes, my motion will be for abeyance item bill number 2008-3 to be held in abeyance until the March 18th recommending meeting. That will be my motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Just wanted to hear it twice, Ricky. We'll move to the next item. 2008-6, annexation number ANX 22192, property location on the south side of Alexander Road, approximately 150 feet east of Buffalo Drive, petitioned by Virgin Tumians and et al., acreage .64 acres, zoned RE, county zoning RE, city equivalent, sponsored by Councilman Larry Brown.
Yes, this is a single parcel owner petitioned annexation. Everything's in order. Recommend approval.
Did we have any other comments?
Good afternoon. Dave Clapsaddle with GC Garcia, 1711 Whitney Mesa Drive in Henderson. Happy to be here on behalf of the applicant. We have read the report. We agree with everything in it. We just want to thank everybody for the work that they put in on this, and we would respectfully ask for your recommendation of approval.
And you can spread those thank yous.
Okay.
Any other comments from the audience? We have a motion.
Yes, move for due pass.
All in favor?
Aye.
The motion passes. The next item, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
The next item is Bill number 2008-7, annexation number ANX 25478, property location on the west side of Rainbow Boulevard, approximately 580 feet south of the Lone Martin Road alignment, petitioned by Kraft Family LP et al., acreage 4.74 acres, zoned RE, county zoning UO, city equivalent, sponsored by Councilman Larry Brown.
Yes, this is a single parcel again, petitioned by the owners. Everything's in order. Recommend approval.
Any other comments, additions? All in favor? Oh, no.
Move for due pass.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Moving to the next item, Bill number 2008-8 updates the city's regulations pertaining to animal-drawn vehicles and similar operations, proposed by Mark R. Vincent, Director of Finance and Business Services.
Yes, if you'll recall, we made a couple of changes a few months ago to our animal drawn ordinance to accommodate the operation that's going to be out at Tule Springs, and as a result of that, we had both our license division and our animal control division look at the chapter on these operations, and this is kind of a cleanup to not only address some of the provisions that become outdated, but also to allow greater flexibility for operations like this that would take place on trails and unpaved streets, and also in connection with an agreement, for example, out at Tule Springs Park. So we recommend approval.
Basically, it seemed to me going through this that it was what you've learned from the first introduction and use, you realize we need to make it a little tighter and a little expansive in other ways.
That's correct.
Anybody wishing to make a comment on this? Any public input? Then I'll wait for the motion.
Move for due pass.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, the motion passes. The next item is Bill Number 2008-9, adopts development agreement with the Board of Regents of the Nevada System of Higher Education on behalf of the College of Southern Nevada regarding property located in the vicinity of Durango Drive and Osa Blanca Road, sponsored by Councilman Stephen Ross.
This is a adoption by ordinance of a development agreement. Normally, we do these in two steps, where the City Council will look at the development agreement on the afternoon planning calendar, and then we follow up with an ordinance. This one kind of got a little bit out of schedule. We had intended for the development agreement to be on the council agenda last meeting, and then this would be the follow-up. And the development agreement item was held in advance last time, so we would recommend either sending it along with a due pass, understanding that you'll actually hear the agreement tomorrow, or if you're uncomfortable doing that, moving it along without a recommendation so that it'll be eligible for adoption after the council hears the development agreement item.
We would not be hearing this development agreement here. You're
Right.
saying we'll be hearing the other part. We'll be hearing that part, which is the key part, probably. And our choice is to pass or to send along with no recommendation, which might be the way to go since we really don't know the whole thing.
That's what I recommend. You also could hold it in advance, but I know that the College of Southern Nevada people will be at the council meeting tomorrow, hoping that everything will pass, so that would be my suggestion.
I'll wait for a motion.
I would. My motion would be to move with no recommendation from recommending. That would be my motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
That takes care of that then. The next item is Bill Number 2008-10, revises the composition and responsibilities of the Records Management Committee and adopts Nevada's minimum records retention schedules for local governments, proposed by Orlando Sanchez, Deputy City Manager.
Yes, committee, this ordinance does a couple of things. The first thing it does is it brings our records management ordinance into compliance with state law and state regulations. In the past, the retention schedules that were adopted were done in a slightly different way, and the legislature changed the way that they did them, so now each local government has the opportunity to just adopt a separate document, and so this will adopt that document by reference. The other thing that this bill does of any consequence is to add a couple of members to our Records Management Committee, including the city auditor and the Director of Information Technologies or his designee. Everything else is pretty much cleanup. We have both Beverly Bridges here and Orlando Sanchez if you have any questions. Both of them work quite extensively with this committee.
Basically, it's tightening up the procedures in place now so they work more effectively. And I'll wait for a motion from our councilman.
Move for due pass.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The motion passes. We move to Bill Number 2008-11, adopts an updated Union Park Design Standards Manual and adopts the Union Park Schematic Streetscape Design Documents, sponsored by Mayor Oscar B. Goodman.
Flynn Fagg with the Planning and Development Department. We've had the Union Park Design Standards Manual in place for approximately 1 year, and as we've been working with it in the Design Review Committee, we've discovered a few minor changes to the design standards and also to the technical standards for the document. The proposal that you have before you does not change the scope of development proposed for Union Park, nor does it change the schematic plan or the blocks or the street layout for Union Park. Again, it's just some minor changes to the architectural standards. And so consequently, we would request approval of that. Also, what we are doing is adding the schematic streetscape manual, which gives very specific standards for the streets within Union Park, which will be of great assistance to any applicants because they'll be able to specifically know what is required along the frontages of their properties. And so we'd request approval of that document as well.
Weren't very many changes, were there?
No, there aren't. There's a couple of changes to all 5 sections of the document, and then we're also amending the appendices to give some additional information. But overall, there's not a whole lot of changes to the document.
We'll have our councilman make a motion.
Yes, I would like to move for due pass.
All in favor? Oh, before I say that, I'm sorry. I need comments from the audience, the public, which doesn't appear to be here really much. All right, and you made the motion?
Yes,
all in
move for due
favor?
pass. Aye.
Okay, moving to the next item on our agenda. Bill number 2008-12 authorizes the City Council to grant distance separation waivers for taverns located in the Parkway Center District, sponsored by Mayor Goodman.
Flynn Fag again with the Planning and Development Department. We are requesting to amend the regulations relative to taverns so that the waiver of distance separation requirements would also apply to Parkway Center as it currently does to the Entertainment District and any CV zoned properties. Parkway Center is somewhat unique in that it's kind of an isolated site in that you have the train tracks on the east side and you have the freeway over on the west side. Currently, there's a very limited area based on protected uses within the Union Park site where you can have taverns, and it is the request of the ordinance that you have before you to open that up to consider waivers for the Union Park site. Again, applicants would still have to file a special use permit, request the waiver. The waiver would have to be approved by City Council, so it does require City Council review.
And this is just in the Parkway Center
It's
District?
only in the
It affects
Parkway
nothing
Center
else?
District, correct.
That was going to be my questions. How does this affect any outside uses as far as boundaries outside of the parkway?
It does not. It is specific to the Parkway Center District itself, which again is defined by the I-15 on the west side, the railroad tracks on the east side, and goes down as far as Charleston. So it basically takes in the Prime Outlet Center, Union Park site, and then the World Market Center. So those are the only places where that waiver of distance would apply.
And possibly asking this from a legal position, the way it's set up now, are you all comfortable with what's being proposed here in this ordinance, that someone, for example, 10 miles down the road, can use this to state that this is precedent setting?
I don't believe it would. I mean, they would have to make the argument that their location has the same character or deserves the same treatment as Parkway Center, and my guess is that that would be difficult to do. I mean, they can always make the argument, but I don't think it's a persuasive one. So I'm comfortable with this.
However, currently today, a tavern cannot open up within 1,500 foot of another tavern outside of this specific boundary.
Well, and it's also can be done in the CV district or the downtown casino overlay district. Waivers are available there already, and this just adds Parkway Center to those.
No, I'm saying, for example, out in the far west.
Right. You can't get a waiver out there.
You couldn't have, and could you apply for it?
You'd get turned down at the counter, right?
Correct.
Okay, so you couldn't apply for it?
No.
Okay.
No, the code is very specific as to where the waivers apply, so no, we wouldn't be able to take an application in.
So this is just expanding where, in fact, the waivers could
Be considered.
Be considered.
Correct.
However, they will come before the mayor and council
Correct.
for approval
Correct.
on a case-by-case basis.
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted that on the
Right,
record.
I think that's important to have on the record. I understand your feeling there. We have the same concerns. Would you like to make a motion?
Yes, I would like to move for due pass.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, except again, I forgot to ask for public input on that. Is there any public input? Then all in favor?
Aye.
The motion passes. We now have the time on the agenda for the public to speak on items which were covered or which pertain to this committee. Anybody wishing to speak? Then I move the meeting be adjourned.